Children, let's see the question answer of Act 1, Scene 2. Extract 3. These questions are based on your workbook, so you can refer to your workbook while seeing this question answer. What has Portia said earlier about Neapolitan prince and his home? Which characteristics is common between Monsieur Le Bon and Count Palatine? Earlier, Portia described the Neapolitan prince as wild as a young horse. Please underline that one. As wild as a young horse, and so attached to his horse that he always spoke about the horse only. The Count Palatine and Le Bon share the common characteristics of frowning. Underline the word frowning. Give the meaning of: he is every man in no man. He has every man's characteristics. He has every man's characteristics, but as personality has no personality of his own. He falls straight a capering. He starts to jump about. Monsieur Le Bon is so fickle-minded that he hears a thrush sing, he starts to jump about. How does the French lord react to the singing of a thrush? When he hears the singing of a thrush, the French lord starts jumping immediately. What would happen if Portia were to marry the count? It would be as if she were married to 20 husbands, as he is never one man but 20 men by turns. If he were to despise Portia, Portia would not be in the least angry and would forgive him. If he were to love Portia passionately, Portia could never return his love, since she could never possibly love 20 husbands. Give any 3 negative qualities of French lord as described by Portia. Portia says that the French lord is more attached to his horse than the Neapolitan prince, and excels Count Palatine in frowning. If he hears a thrush singing, he starts jumping immediately. Further, if he does not have anybody to fence with, he will take his own shadow as adversary. Extract 4. How is the young baron's external appearance described in the passage? What light does it throw on the national pattern of clothes of Englishmen? The baron's external appearance is described as odd and strange. Underline it, odd and strange. This is a key word there. He is oddly dressed and very odd in behavior too. He wears an Italian jacket. Please underline Italian jacket, and breeches in the French fashion. Underline it. He seems to have got his hat, underline the word hat, from Germany, underline the word Germany, and his manners from everywhere. Underline manners and everywhere. Englishmen of Shakespeare's days had fondness for the manners and clothes of foreigners. Underline fondness, manners and clothes of foreigners. Next, what shows that the English lord has poor knowledge of the European language? Why does Portia find it difficult to interact with him? Portia's statement that the Englishman did not know Latin, French or Italian shows that he had very poor knowledge of European languages. Portia found it difficult to converse with him as he did not know Latin, French or Italian, and Portia's knowledge of English was very poor. Give the meaning of: he is a proper man's picture. He is handsome and fine looking. How oddly he is shooted. He is dressed very strangely. Number 4. What is referred to as dumb show? Why is the baron said to be a dumb show? The word dumb show refers to play in which all characters act without speaking, that is by gesture. A pantomime is a dumb show. Here it means that the Englishman is unable to speak foreign languages and had to converse by means of signs, as in a dumb show. Give a brief description of the Scottish lord. The Scottish lord is not impressive, Portia speaks about his cowardice in a sarcastic way by calling him kind-hearted as he did not return the Englishman's blow immediately. Number 6. What type of contemporary relationship among England, Scotland, and France is reflected in the description of the Scottish lord? The description of the Scottish lord is a reference to the frequent alliance between the Scots and the French against England when Scotland was at war with England. Extract 5. How does the young German behave when he is sober and when he is drunk? If the worst happens to Portia, which would compel her to marry him, what would she do? When sober, the young German is less than a man in behavior, and when drunk, he is no better than a beast. If the worst happens to Portia, she will manage to do without him. Give the meaning of when he is worst, he is little better than a beast. When he is drunk, he is no better than a beast. Set a deep glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. Place a tall goblet of Rhenish. Goblet, you know, it is a glass which is used to serve wine on the wrong casket. What plan does Portia make to prevent the young German from choosing the right casket? To prevent the young German from choosing the right casket, Portia instructed Nerissa to place a tall goblet of Rhenish wine on the wrong casket. Portia was sure that the German shooter will not be able to resist the temptation of his natural drink, even if the picture of the devil himself was within. Why is a young German referred to as a sponge? A sponge constantly absorbs water. Similarly, a drunkard who constantly takes a liquor is called a sponge. Since the young German is a drunkard, Portia calls him a sponge. After Portia's speech, what does Nerissa say to console her about the shooter? Nerissa tells Portia to set aside her fears concerning the shooters. She says that they have informed her of their decision to go back home and not to press their courtship further unless Portia's father's decree concerning the caskets can be set aside and they may move her in an ordinary way. Extract 6. What was Portia's father's will? As far as Portia's marriage was concerned, Portia's father's will was that her marriage will be decided by the lottery of 3 caskets. The shooter who chooses the right casket containing Portia's picture will be her husband. Who is Sibyl and who is Dinah? Why are they referred to in the context? In Ovid's Metamorphoses, Sibyl was a prophetess. She was granted a wish by goddess Apollo that she would live for as many years as the grains of sand she held in her hand. She was the ageless old woman. You underline the word Ovid's Metamorphoses, prophetess, goddess Apollo, then grain of sand, and ageless old woman. Dinah was the goddess of moon and hunting. Underline the word moon and hunting. She is known as the virgin goddess. They are referred to here to explain Portia's resolve, that means determination to remain a virgin like Dinah, even if she lives to be as old as Sibyl of Cumae, unless she is won in marriage by some shooter in the lottery of caskets. What does Nerissa say to introduce Bassanio? What were the feelings of Portia for Bassanio in this scene? To introduce Bassanio, Nerissa recalls the visit of a young Venetian along with the Marquis of Montferrat when Portia's father was alive. He was a scholar and a soldier. In this scene, Portia's feelings for Bassanio are quite positive. She recalls his name and tells Nerissa that he fully deserves her praise. Her simple reply shows that she is already in love with Bassanio. In what sense can we say that the opening of the first 2 scenes of the Act 1 give the plots of the play? The opening of the first 2 scenes of the Act 1 gives the plot of the play. The 2 main plots of the play are the Bond story and the casket story. The Bond story is initiated in scene 1. while the cascade story is initiated in scene 2 of Act 1. Name the 6 suitors in this scene. Give 2 characteristics of each suitor described by Portia. The Neapolitan prince from Naples, Italy, was dashing youngster as well as horse. He always talked about his horse. The County Palatine, always frowning and unusually gloomy. Lebon from France had characteristics of every man and had no personality of his own. Mr. Falconbridge from England, though handsome, was strangely and unmannerly dressed and did not know Latin, French, or Italian. The Scottish lord was a coward and did not repay the Englishman who gave him a blow. The Duke of Saxony was a drunkard. He is, in his sober moments, behaved less than a man, and when drunk, no better than beast. That's all from Act 1, Scene 2, children. Have a nice day. Thank you.